What is up, everybody? Your boy Jacob, Pick Management here with the Prince of Picks, Payam, with the NBA Betting Insiders off another great night. I had a 3-0 night, bringing my last 2 day total to 10-3-1. Payam went 2-2, which means he is 8-10 the last 2 days. It not too bad, right? Free podcast, winners, doesn't get much better than that. We are here to break down your Friday NBA slate with our best bets, player props, and more. Payam, say hello to the people and let them know how your night was.
Yeah, what's up, man? Like you said, I had a decent night, 2-2. I went to bed last night around 2 o'clock in the morning, and woke up at 8 to 7 inches of snow outside. So, got a little snowstorm going on outside, and what better way to stay warm than to watch some hoops, some NBA action, which there's a lot of games tonight, and I got a lot of bets for these games. So, looking forward to getting into them. We're gonna make some money tonight. So yeah, man.
Yeah, awesome. Make sure to stick around for the end of the show. I've got some big news for the brand, for myself personally. We got some big things coming up. You are going to start seeing us a lot more places. But we are going to dig right into today's best bets because Payam has a whole bunch of them, and we don't want to keep you guys here all day. So Payam, dig into the Friday slate with your best bets.
Yes, sir. All right. So first up, we're gonna go to the Sacramento Kings. They are traveling to Philadelphia to take on the Sixers. On this one, I'm gonna go game total over 241. That's currently at minus 112. Both teams are top 10 offensively, and I think with Embiid being out again, this is gonna be a high scoring game. I all the metrics that Philly has, I kind of tossed them out. The defensive ones, I tossed them out if Embiid is not playing because I think he makes that much of a difference for this team, especially defensively. So I think there's going to be a ton of points in this game. I think it's going to be a high scoring game. So I'm over 241 for the total. I'm also going to take De'Aaron Fox over 2.5 threes. And I will be on DeMontis Sabonis over 35.5 points and rebounds. That is going to be my lock of the day. We're going to hit you with that one early to this show. I just think Sabonis is going to have a monster game. Again, with no Embiid in there. He's coming off a triple double a couple games ago. Sabonis, one of the top five bigs in the league. So I like for him to absolutely feast tonight, especially with Embiid being out. So did you have anything for this one?
I sure did. I am going to take the Kings minus 110 on the money line. I just think the Kings are starting to turn it on with no Embiid. I really I like the Kings here. They've been playing better ball. They are winners of 4 out of their last 5, won their last 2 road games. I get this is going to be their third game in 4 nights, but it's Philly's lost 4 out of their last 5. And I get, Embiid's been hurt, but this Kings team has been putting up points. Scored 130 in 3 out of their last 130 plus in 3 out of their last 4 wins. And they have just been, and these weren't just like good wins. Like their last 2 wins, they won by 25 and 21 points against a bad Charlotte and a bad Detroit team. And like you touched on, Philly is just not the same defensively without Embiid there. I think Fox balls out here and takes it to the Kings. And this actually just went off the board. So we might be getting some kind of injury news or something. So if I see what's going on before the end of the show, I'll make sure to check back in. But I really do like Kings money line here.
Yep. I think the only thing that would keep me away from there is if De'Aaron Fox is out, which sure. I haven't heard anything about it, but the fact that, it went down, something to keep an eye on. But yeah, otherwise love it. Next up, we're going to go to Atlanta, where the Hawks are going to be hosting the Indiana Pacers. For this one, I am going game total under 254.5. This Pacers offense, they're not the same without Halliburton. I think this team stalls offensively. Halliburton is the most important player to this team. If you were to think of who's an MVP, right, in terms of an MVP for their specific team, I think Halliburton is the most important player for his team, more so than anybody else in the league. So I just think they're gonna struggle without him. TJ McConnell is not the same as Halliburton, not in any way, shape, or form. And also, the Pacers defense has improved. Again, Halliburton helps a little bit with that, but their team defense in general has improved. So I don't think you're going to see quite as high scoring games as you did earlier in the season with this Pacers team. So I am going to go game total under 254.5 for this one. Do you have anything for this one?
I really was tempted. I'm sorry, real quick. Did you say 254 and a half or 252?
A 254.5 is
Okay,
what it was
mine is
at.
currently 252 and a half, so
So
you'd
it's
have
going
to
down.
buy it up to go under for that
Got it.
currently.
Okay.
So these two teams, last 10, 9-1 to over. Just something to think about. I get those were mostly healthy games and healthy teams. Capella and Trae Young are currently game time decisions right now, so it's a little hard for me to jump on this. I did lean Pacers just because I feel like they both might be out tonight. If they are, I think I'm going to jump on the Pacers here, but I'm not going to make it an official best bet. And make sure to check the socials later at Pick Management to see if I make this a best bet. But I do have a lean to the Pacers here.
Okay, sure. All right. Cool. All right, next up, we're gonna go to Detroit, where the Pistons are hosting the Houston Rockets. This one's simple for me. Houston minus 7.5, minus 120. I'll lay it. Houston might win by double digits, maybe 20, maybe 20 plus. Detroit is just a bad team. There are certain teams in the league that they find ways to lose, and that's what Detroit is. You know what I mean? Like if you ever watch their games, I mean things that happen late in games, it's as if anything that could go wrong does go wrong for Detroit. I mean, the weirdest things will happen to them. Some of it self-inflicted, some of it not, but they just always seem to find a way to fumble it at the end. But in this game, I don't think it's even going to get to the end. I think they're going to get blown out within 3 quarters. Houston's just better in every way, and Houston is a team that they do know how to win, and even when they're down, they'll come back like they did against the Bulls. A couple nights ago, they were down in the fourth quarter, came back, sent it to overtime. So I just this is just a play for me that I just think Houston is just a way better team than the Detroit Pistons. Did you have anything for this one?
I do. While you were talking, it made me think of something, so I went and looked it up. This two teams, Houston has gone over in 4 out of the last 5 games on the road, and the over is hit in 9 out of the last 13 when Houston has played Detroit on the road. So something to think about here. The other thing is, Detroit 0-10 straight up in their last 10 games against a Western Conference opponent. They're trash, right? Detroit, horrible.
Right. Sure.
Houston 6-4 in their last 10 against them. Something concerning here currently. Houston is only 3-12 straight up on the road, but 9-2 is a favorite. So that's kind of weird. And against the spread, 6-8-1 away. So I want to take Houston here, but I think I am just going to focus on the total, and I'm going to take the over 226. I think Houston does their part, and I think Detroit does just enough to help push this over. So if that's going to be an official play for me here, Houston, Detroit over 226.
Sure. And I think the thing for me with Detroit is, you think about it, they're a 31 team with Cade
3 and
Cunningham, right?
35,
Well,
yeah.
one talking about before Cade Cunningham went out, I think they were like 3-31, 3-32, right? So they were trash already with Cade Cunningham. You want to talk about a player that's important to their team? He might be the second most important player to their team.
Sure.
Because without him, I mean, this team is auto fade for me, to be honest with you. Like I said, they were trash with him. Without him, good luck.
The one thing I do love, I like this Rockets as a parlay piece here, and I'm definitely going to be using that. So
yep. So, same for me. So stay tuned. We'll hit that at the end here. Yep. All right. So next up, we're gonna go to Memphis. Where the Grizzlies are going to be hosting the Los Angeles Clippers. For this one, I am on the Clippers, minus 7.5. That was at minus 110. The Clippers have won 7 of their last 8 games. 5 of the last 7 wins has been by 9+ points. So the Clippers are rolling right now. They're one of the hottest teams, if not maybe the hottest team in the league currently. They're 3 future Hall of Famers. Well, maybe Westbrook is a 4th. So they're 4 future Hall of Famers. Are really putting it together. They're really putting it on the league right now. And they're showing why they made the trade that they did for Harden. Grizzlies are a 5-20 team without Ja Morant, right? That's what they started the season before Ja came back for the few games that he played. And also, Marcus Smart is out several weeks. So this team is just getting decimated by injuries. Obviously, no Steven Adams, no Brandon Clark. They're just not a very good team at all. I think the Clippers are in a really good spot here to cover this 7.5. I'm also going to go Clippers team total over 116.5. I don't see any way that the Grizzlies are going to be able to slow them down. This is a Clippers team that's rolling. They just put up 138, I believe, against Phoenix the other night. And they've just been scoring a ton of points, especially ever since Harden came over. So those are going to be my 2 plays for that one. Do you have anything?
Yeah, I'm gonna ride that Clippers. What was it, 7.5?
Yeah.
I'm gonna take it at 7. Because I fucking hate getting killed by a hook.
Sure.
I think Memphis at home, not that great. Currently 4-12 ATS at home. While the Clippers are 8-9 ATS on the road. They're 24-6 overall as a favorite. Memphis 3-13 straight up at home. So yeah, definitely see the Memphis struggling here. Currently, 83% of the bets are on the Clippers, but 97% of the money so far bet on the Clippers. Not only are they getting hammered bet wise, but big bets. Everything is leaning towards the Clippers here. Opened at 7.5, now at 8.5. Probably going to be, I don't know, could possibly be 9.5 by game time. So you're going to want to jump on this quick. But yeah, I'm going to take this Clippers -7 here at -145. So it's not even not that juicy compared to what I usually take. And then the other thing I'm going to be on here is Clippers team total over 116.5. They've been playing great offensively. They've gone over this in their last 3 games. Before that, in the last 4 out of 6, they've covered the 116.5. Sorry, wrong team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 out of the last 7. Sorry, they have covered the 116.5. So yeah, Clippers -7, team total over 116.5 here.
Cool. Yep, we're both on the exact same thing for that one. So okay. All right. Next up, we're gonna go to Minnesota, where the Timberwolves are hosting the Portland Trailblazers. Minnesota is laying 12.5. I'll lay it. Don't overthink this one. This has blowout written all over it. This was before Portland's 62-point loss last night. So even without that, this was going to be a blowout. But the fact that they just lost by 62 to the Thunder last night, Minnesota coming off of a tough loss to the Boston Celtics. I think this is a bounce back smash spot for the Timberwolves here. Portland can't score. Portland just can't score, which is another reason why I'm going to take their Portland team total under 106.5. This is just a team they don't score at all. It's a tough back-to-back spot for Portland. And Portland has scored 106 or less in 7 of their last 9 games. They scored just 77 and 84 in their last 2 games. So this is a team that is almost a throwback team to the 80s, 90s, where 70, 80, 90 points was the norm. I mean, if this team was playing in 1992, they might be a top 8 team, a playoff team in the West. But unfortunately, in 2024, 92 points is going to get you a bottom 3 record in the Western Conference. And so, this Portland team, they don't score enough, they don't defend enough. They're not good enough. They're a really bad team. So, Minnesota -12.5. Portland team total under 106.5. Do you have anything?
Well, that line, just so you know, is now at 15.5.
Okay.
So
Wow.
it has gone
Good.
up. The 12 is no longer available. So I
Cool.
think the cheapest you'll be able to get is 13.5 for people taking this at home. Would you still take the 13.5?
Yes, I would take 13.5. I would take 15.5.
All right. We know Pyam does his research at night the night before, so he does jump on these lines early and often. So we do the best we can here, but just so you know, that's why he's got those lines. He's not just making up numbers.
Yeah, no,
he does the work
I
the
do
night
all.
before.
Yep. I was gonna mention that. Yep. So yeah, do all my
So
research and picks. Yeah, night before.
yeah,
So
it's all right. So what I will say is I am going to be on Minnesota team total over here. It's currently off the board. This game just went off. I believe it was at like 121 or so. I'll update you on that, but I will 118 and a half. There it is. So I'm going to be on the Minnesota team total over 118 and a half. I am also going to be on this game over 219 for minus 145. Just something to think about here. Portland is 5-1 ATS on second game of back-to-backs. I get that they sucked yesterday, but I think the fact that they only scored 77 points is going to kind of light a fire under their ass regardless of back-to-back. And I think that's going to allow them to at least do their part here. And then I think Minnesota, is going to just dominate this game. So, my only concern here is a little bit of a blowout factor at the end if they pull people and start sitting them. But then, I just think that, Portland Trailblazers team total currently at 102 and a half. I think that they get over that. So I might make that an official play. Not positive yet, but I do think this game gets over here. I could see this being like a 130, 105 kind of finish. So that is why I'm on the over.
Okay, something to think about. Minnesota is number one defense in the league at home. Oklahoma City's bottom 15. So, and they scored 77 against Oklahoma City.
I get it.
Just something. Good luck. I wish you well, but
I
understand. Just something to consider.
But I think the fact that they got so embarrassed yesterday on the road,
yeah, you would think so.
77. I think they at least eclipse 100 in this game, regardless of the Minnesota defense. Still keeping them under 105 is still impressive. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It's still a great defensive game.
Yeah,
I just think that is just a tad bit low for the reasons I said before.
Okay, cool. All right. Let's see. Next up, we're gonna go to Chicago, snowy Chicago here, where the Bulls are hosting the Golden State Warriors. For this one, I'm taking Golden State plus 5.5. I did buy that up a couple points. It was at plus 3.5. I'm not sure what it's at now. But I got that at plus 5.5. I'm also going to sprinkle a little bit on the money line for the Warriors. Warriors are 7-3 ATS as a road dog this season. And the Bulls are just 50% ATS as a home favorite. I think this is a spot where, the Warriors, this could be a season momentum kind of changing game for the Warriors tonight. I think that playing in Chicago, with all the history of the United Center and obviously the Bulls themselves, historically. Usually, when Curry plays in these kind of Eastern Conference historic environments, usually it's a big game. And I just think tonight is a good opportunity for them to kind of get right the ship a little bit, so to speak. So I think they can keep it within 2 possessions. Again, I do think they can win it outright, but I'm not going to make that an official bet. But I will make Warriors plus 5.5 an official bet. Do you have anything?
I'm going to be on the other side of this. I'm going to take the Bulls money line here.
Okay.
At home, I think Golden State 8-7 on the road. Bulls 10-12 at home. Golden State lost their last 2 in a row against New Orleans and Detroit. Against New Orleans and Toronto. Barely beat Detroit. Lost to Denver. Barely beat Orlando. Chicago winners of 3 in a row. Beat Charlotte twice. I get it. Beat a good Houston team. And then we saw them not play so well on the road against the Knicks and Philly. But I think Chicago here at home, Draymond Green is about to come back for Golden State. I kind of feel like they don't start winning again until he comes back. And I just, not for too many analytical reasons I'm on here, but I just like the Bulls at home. Warriors may be a little distracted waiting for Draymond to come back. And I think the Bulls have been playing good ball recently. And I think that they can win this outright. I think it's going to be close. I got to lean towards the over in this game as well. I think this is going to be like a real battle of a game. But yeah, I think I'm going to make Bulls official here minus 150. So we have a little bit of we have another battle. What are we, 2-2?
Yeah, 2-2. All right, let's do it. All right.
That's an official head up
it's an official
against
showdown.
for Payam.
All right, so I'm on Warriors. He's on Bulls.
Yep.
So let's go. All right, let's see what happens here. And also the over. The only thing I'm with you on the over, but the only thing I'm a little worried about the Bulls. Sometimes they have a hard time scoring, so it's only I'm going to stay away off of that. But I do like your angle on that one. But yeah, all right. So last up for me, we're gonna go to San Antonio where the Spurs are hosting the Charlotte Hornets. For this one, I am going to take the game total over 242.5. Both teams are bottom five defensively and allowing points per game. And I don't think either one of them is going to be able to stop the other. I get it. Sometimes Charlotte has some scoring lulls, but San Antonio is just so bad defensively that I think almost anyone can put up points against them. And the same can be said for Charlotte. They're also just as bad defensively. So, due to their defensive woes, I think both offenses will find ways to score points in this one. So I like the total over 242.5. And then I'm also going to go on Victor Wembanyama. I think he has a big game tonight. I'm going to go over 9.5 rebounds. That's at minus 120. I'm also going to go over 2.5 blocks at minus 135. And I'm going to go over 1.5, over 1.5 threes at minus 115. Wembanyama has averaged 10.5 rebounds, 4.5 blocks, and 2+ threes in his last 4 games. So he's been hitting those numbers. And again, I just think, with the Hornets not being a very good team, they really don't have any size to compete with Wembanyama, which who does, right? But, at least some teams have some quality bigs, which the Hornets have none. And also Charlotte is 28th in the league in rebounds. And they are 30th, dead last in the league in opponent 3-point percentage. So I like Wembanyama on his rebounds and his threes, and this guy, gets 4 blocks, getting out of bed. So the fact that it's only 2.5 is the line. I love it. Those are going to be my official place for that. And then I do have for my final bet of the night, and then I'll send it over to you. I got a little 3-game money line parlay. Typically I don't do parlays, but for this one, I really like this one a lot. So we're going to go Houston, Clippers, Minnesota, moneyline parlay. That's at minus 116. I think all 3 teams are in a great spot here to get the win. So I am going to be taking that as my final bet of the night, and I'll send it over to you, Jacob.
All right, awesome. I do like that San Antonio Charlotte over 236. It is because San Antonio 13-4 currently to the over at home. So I just really like that, mainly because San Antonio likes to play fast at home, and against a bad Charlotte team, I think that they can get it done. So I'm going to ride that over with you. But I do have a couple more bets myself. I am going to be going on to the Pelicans versus Nuggets, 10 o'clock tip-off. I'm going to take the Pelicans here. I bought it up to 10 points, making it a little juicy. I get it. It's at minus 150 at that price. But Pelicans are healthy right now, playing a Nuggets team at home who has been on fire. But I think that we've seen the Pelicans kind of turn a corner here. Winners 4 out of the last 5. Beat Minnesota, beat Sacramento bad at Sacramento, took on Brooklyn, smashed Brooklyn at home, took on Golden State, blew out Golden State at Golden State. So they've been balling out, and they're healthy. Denver lost to Utah, who's been playing well, beat Detroit, lost to Orlando. So it's not like they're playing terrible, but I just think that New Orleans 11-5-1 as an underdog or pick, and I just think that this is too many points here. So I'm going to be on the Pelicans plus 10, and I'm going to take this game over 228. It's now 229, but you can still find 228 somewhere. It's minus 125 in my book, so not so bad. I think this is going to be a super high-scoring battle of a game. I think it comes down to the wire here, and I think this might be the highest-scoring game of the night. For such a low line here, I think that's what we see. And I like Pelicans team total over 109.5. I get the Nuggets are good defensively and all that. Timeout. If Zion is out, this is a no play. He's questionable right now. I'll say that. Brandon England also questionable. CJ McCollum also questionable. But if Zion's out, this is a no play for me. That's the only caveat here. So keep an eye on the injury reports. And then I think that. Oh, and then lastly, I'm going to take Jazz money line here versus the Raptors. Jazz have been balling out like big time.
And
They
hold on, I gotta interrupt you. I was on it 2 weeks ago, and I gotta say,
Yeah.
I was on it when everyone else was shitting on the Jazz, and I was saying this team is better than people think. These players are better, they're quality players, and it's the same team that started hot last season. They just had a lot of injuries to begin this season. So, not to toot my own horn, but I was on that before everyone else. Go ahead, continue.
All right. Well, the Jazz balling out, but the reason I will say this, Pascal Siakam, um, Otto Porter, both game time decisions tonight. But Utah totally healthy at home. The main reason, though, is Toronto is finishing a road trip. They played 5 games in a row on the road, won 3, lost 2. But one thing you don't want to do is go to elevation to finish a road trip. It is hard to play in Utah. It's hard to breathe there. You just played the Clippers. You played the Lakers, the Kings, Golden State. Those are tough games, especially Clippers and Lakers defensively, especially like playing the Clippers and losing a 6-point game. Heartbreaker for them. But Utah putting up points, beating good teams, beat Philly, Milwaukee, Denver. I mean, who's done that lately? 3 in a row. So Utah money line here is let me pull that up. Utah money line is -145. I think that's better than night. I really think that this is a smash spot, and I love the Jazz here. So that is going to do it for me. To review, Payam is on Kings Philly over 241. De'Aaron Fox over 2.5 threes. Sabonis over 35.5 points and a rebound. That's his best bet of the night. He's on the game under 254.5 and the Hawks Pacers. Rockets -7.5. Clippers -7.5. T-Wolves -14.
Clippers team total over 116.5
Oh, all
as
right,
well.
and Clippers team
Yep.
total over.
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota -14. Golden State +5.5. And the money line +130. San Antonio Charlotte over 236. Wembanyama over blocks. His rebounds over and threes over 1.5. He's got a money line parlay on the Clippers, Kings, and Rockets that pays out -116. I am on Houston over 220. The Houston game over 226. Kings money line. Pacers +6 is a lean. I'm going to check the socials if that's official. I'm on the Spurs money line. Minnesota team total over 118.5 and the game over 219. Pelicans +10 and over 228. Jazz money line. Clippers -7 and team total over 116.5 and the Bulls money line. So before we tell you where you can find us, big news. I am doing some work now as the senior brand manager for Jonathan Coachman and Alan Bell, their new project, Driving in Line, new website, new podcast, all sorts of great stuff. Make sure you check it out. Head over to Driving the Line right now. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, check out the socials, all sorts of great stuff, all the best stuff you love from those two guys, and all sorts of new guest hosts, all sorts of great pros are going to be starting Monday at Driving the Line. Also, new sports betting app called Thrills launches at the end of the month. They have also made me their brand director. So they are a sweepstakes style betting app. You're going to see them here. We're going to hopefully work out some stuff so you guys can try out the app. But big news. Keep an eye out for Thrills launching in the U.S. at the end of the month. So Payam, let the people know where they can find you.
Yeah, man, we're gonna add a surname to your name. So from now on, we're gonna call him Jacob Big Time Pick Management. So if you guys are gonna comment on him in the post, make sure you guys add that. You guys can follow me on X and TikTok at Prince of Picks 10. Also make sure to follow this channel on YouTube at Sports Betting Insiders. We got a lot of new videos coming out. We got the Asian Cup, which just started today, which is actually going on right now. We're currently recording this at about 11:30 a.m. Eastern. So you got Asian Cup, African Cup of Nations. You got European soccer with Soccer Q Edge VIP and Jacob Big Time Pick Management. And Yeah, we got a lot, got new stuff coming out. So you guys want to, share the link with your family and friends. Let them know, we're the hottest sports wagering show out there. You guys can be part of the grassroots movement of this thing that we're doing here. So big things coming, like Jacob said, and yeah, man.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, European soccer returns this week. I know some people were asking about it. Make sure to join the Sports Betting Insiders Discord. Totally free to join. I will be posting all my soccer plays there for the weekend. Hopefully, Ash and I will be recording a new episode of Betting the Pitch since European soccer returns this weekend. This has been the NBA Betting Insiders, your only 7-day-a-week NBA best bet show, and we will see you later.
It's all mathematics. Mighty most definitely. It's simple mathematics.